Question, why do big tech companies still have so much power in this country? They affect our daily lives every single day. Former President Donald Trump is working to end that. He filed a class action lawsuit and added 65,000 censorship stories from everyday Americans as a part of that lawsuit in a case that could make its way all the way to the Supreme Court. Joining us now from the mountains of North Carolina is the America First Policy Institute's chairman for constitutional litigation and former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi. Good morning. Nice to see you again. I know that your husband and you work diligently to make this hit a possibility. And I know that as someone that spent a lot of time in Florida, in Tampa, that in the summertime it's so hot, you got to go to the mountains so you can cool down a little bit. So we appreciate you making this work. Yes, good to see you.
Up at camp tomorrow morning, so we're traveling, but I wanted to get on and get to talk to you this morning.
Well, I'm so glad you're joining us. I want to talk about President Trump's lawsuit. It was filed against the big three: Facebook, Twitter, Google, which controls YouTube as well. These companies basically have unlimited power over our daily digital lives. Do you think this case could go all the way to the Supreme Court?
Oh, I believe it will go all the way to the Supreme Court. It needs to go to the Supreme Court. If you think about it, when big tech started, it really wasn't big tech. It was, remember the days of AOL in the late 90s? It was AOL, and it was about 20 million people. Now these platforms they have billions worldwide, and they are controlling, they're the 21st century town hall, big tech, and they're controlling basically all of the information that comes out from all Americans throughout not only the states but the country. And so it's really important to take this on, because if they can censor President Trump, they can censor anything. They're pulling off a doctor who's talking about COVID-19 today. Tomorrow it's going to be you.
Exactly.
They're a school teacher from Michigan. Let's talk about her first. We've got a school teacher from Michigan who's on her Facebook page discussing with her friends, with is it appropriate for children under 2 to wear masks? I think a lot of people would say it's not appropriate for children under 2 to wear masks.
Agreed.
She's talking about, and the quarantine, she's discussing that. They shut her Facebook page down completely. That's what's been happening to Americans. I could go on and on.
And these are everyday Americans, by the way. These are not partisan people. These are not politicians or people in the media. I noticed that Facebook is now very slyly running ads on conservative media, claiming that they want these laws to be rewritten. But I think it's more window dressing. Documentarian Ken Burns, who's been around for years, just this week on a New York Times podcast, he called the founder of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, an enemy of the state. What'd you make of that?
Yeah, well, they are running ads, and you're right. It was very sly. So what protects them in their mind is Section 230. And Section 230 came around back in the day, like I was saying, when AOL was around, to let big tech pull off pedophiles, pull off child predators, to censor in that way. And it's really evolved in their minds into a full-blown immunity for them, where they can violate the First Amendment. And as we all know, that's the most important constitutional amendment in my mind we have. And the Supreme Court has also ruled on that, how important, of course, the First Amendment is. And what they're doing, they just can't get away with. And that's why this case is so important. And you said it's everyday Americans. It is. And it's also, you would be surprised, 65,000 people have written in, emailed in to takeonbigtech.com. If you have a story, please share it with America First Policy Institute. But over 65 Americans have written in, everyday Americans, and they are not all Republicans, conservatives. One woman on our lawsuit is Dr. Naomi Wolf. She's a Democrat. She's on CNN, but she discusses COVID-19 and how to treat COVID and different things. They pulled her down. They censored her. So she is now one of our plaintiffs as well.
Pam, we've got just about 30 seconds left, but do you think that everyday Americans are aware that that what they are seeing is being controlled? My mother, for example, had no idea that Hunter Biden might be a bad guy. She'd never heard about the laptop before the election. I'm serious. My own mom, she's got a son on Newsmax. She had never heard of this before. But this is what she's looking at on Facebook and on her news feed.
Yeah. Well, your mom needs to tell mom to be watching Newsmax instead of going on Facebook.
She does.
You're right. And that's what they were doing. And by the way, that's why we've amended our complaint. We've added 2 counts in Florida of unfair and deceptive trade practices for issues just like that. We have 2 counts on violating the First Amendment. And that's it. They're controlling the content that Americans hear. But I think more and more Americans are listening to Newsmax and conservative outlets and really hearing the truth about what's happening in our world.
Pam Bondi, good luck getting your son from camp. I noticed your son had a Lightning hat on. Congrats to the Lightning winning the Cup. Your husband, tell him, yeah, your husband, right? Yeah, tell him congrats, and we appreciate you guys setting this up. Keep us posted on this lawsuit. I'm really excited to see where this goes. This could be, if this works out, I think this is a huge part of President Trump's legacy, by the way, as well.
Thank you. Yes,
Pam Bondi, we appreciate it. Good to see you. All right, a lot more to come here on Wake Up America. Stay with us.
Cuomo refusing to cover the controversy surrounding his brother Andrew Cuomo as calls for his resignation intensify.
I don't know why Jeff Zucker, who runs the show over there at CNN, he's running it into the ground right now, but I don't know why they just haven't said, all right, bring on Chris Cuomo, the governor's brother, and utilize him as a guest so he can comment on this, but not comment as a news anchor, so he can still have whatever credibility he